Hey, how's it going? Thank you all for tuning in today. My name is Tyler, watching a game of Age of Empires once again between the Viper playing as Persians here in blue and Dogao, also Persians in red. Pretty cool to see a pro game between two players who are not playing as Huns, and actually I don't see very many Persian wars myself, so we'll see what they do with that today. Before we get started, I do want to mention that this game's pretty long. I'm going to fast forward through some parts of it. For the most part, I should be able to capture all the good bits. But before we start fast forwarding, let's look at the resources. So we can see Viper here with his stone on the back. He's got a very nice wood line here on the back that he can defend with a couple of small palisades here. Does look like he has a little bit of a wallable map. His gold's on the front, his berries are on the front, sheep that he hasn't found yet, secondary gold and stone kind of far away from him. But overall, not the worst map, and he is the Viper, so it's only fair that he has a little bit worse of a map than Dogao. Meanwhile, Dogao has a really nice map in a lot of ways. He has his main gold on the back, his berries on the back. They're both at a downhill slope, so if Viper gets in there, he will get some good harassment. Maybe some ability for Dogao to wall here. He's already blocked that little passage off. Big hole here on the front is going to be hard to defend. But all in all, I would say Dogao has a much better map. He can probably wall across here as well. So we'll see what both of these players do with their map, and we'll see what both of them do playing as Persians. Alright. Interestingly here, Viper on... he's going to put 5 villagers on his berries eventually, which is a little different than what we normally see. He has 3 on wood. We won't expect a drush from him. Dogao also has 3 on wood, so we will not see a drush probably from either player. And both guys here with a pretty normal feudal, just grabbing their boars. I will mention as we fast forward a bit that the Viper is going to go up on 23 in this game. He does this. He did this almost every game he played against Dogao. So I'm not sure if that's his strategy for that particular player or if he's trying something new. But interesting to see him go 23 up. I think 3 games in a row against Dogao. Meanwhile, Dogao on 21 with Loom, he will go up. So he's on 21, he's got Loom, that's the equivalent of 22 villagers as far as build time, and then Viper taking that extra villager to get to 23. A little bit uncommon from the Viper. It seems like a not too risky of a play. He knows that there isn't a drush coming, so he shouldn't be harassed by scouts before he can get Loom, but interesting to note. Meanwhile, Viper here on the front, putting up his barracks, putting up a few houses. Dogao doing the same. We'll fast forward for just a second, and we'll see that Dogao gets the feudal first. He's going to go up with a stable. 2 villagers building that stable, and he's up exactly 1 villager faster than Viper. Meanwhile, Viper is going to go up with a stable of his own. He's going to put 3 villagers on it, and that's going to make them very close to the time when they finish. And we'll see that here. Dogao his stable is up, and now Viper's stable is up. So they're both going to start building scouts, and they'll probably be very close in their scout production, since Viper put 3 villagers on. So overall, Viper has a bit of an advantage here. He had an extra couple of villagers working through the Dark Age transition to feudal, gathered a little more resources, and he didn't lose too much time on scout production. So an interesting strategy from him. Meanwhile, Dogao here walling off his side, and we're starting to see the first action of the game on the front. Viper with 3 scouts, Dogao with 4. Here's Viper's 4th coming in. We can see that those scouts have obviously no upgrades. We haven't seen a blacksmith yet. Viper coming with a couple of spears forward, and just keeping the pressure on. Meanwhile, if we look at Fog of War, we can see Viper knows about this wood line, but he has not found Dogao's gold. He only knows about his stone. He doesn't see this wall off yet. He doesn't see this opening in the back. Okay, so those guys will chase each other around, do some scouts, some flirting with their scouts here. No major battle at the moment. Meanwhile, Dogao's going to put up a wall over here. He's going to send a spear to guard that wall while it goes up. Brings his whole army that way. Interesting, that was really Viper's, seems like Viper's chance to get in. He would take a bit of damage from Dogao, but it doesn't look like he's going to have a chance now. This wall's going to go up, and he's going to be blocked out. Little does he know that he'll be blocked out of the entire base for Dogao. So Viper's going to have to find a way in with his scouts. Meanwhile, Dogao sneaking his around back. His 5 scouts headed for the back door, while Viper scouts are here. Not even going to attack that palisade. I think he sees Dogao now. Dog also sending 2 spears forward. And those 5 scouts are going to get right into Viper's wood line, and they're definitely going to get a few villagers here. That one villager fighting while the others wall up, but that's not going to be enough time. 2 villagers down for Viper. Will he lose a 3rd here? It's looking low. Yeah, he does. Three villagers down for Viper. Dogao's going to lose all but one of his scouts in that exchange. But all in all, a pretty good exchange for Dogao. Getting a 3 villager takedown in feudal. Sacrificing his scouts to do it, but having his whole area walled off, he should be pretty safe on his way to castle. We can see that Viper has clicked up to castle, so is Dogao. Dogao has a slight lead on that. Viper does have a score lead since he has all these scouts on the field, but he has lost 3 villagers. So Dogao with a bit of an advantage, going up with the 2nd stable, getting bloodlines here, and Viper is just going to try to be annoying on the front of Dogao's base. Maybe the palisade would be a better place to attack here, but I'm sure Dogao would defend that just fine. So Viper here with a military advantage, but with a villager disadvantage. We'll see if he can overcome it. Giving those villagers away on that wood line, or rather losing them, could be the difference in this game. You know, a couple of palisades here might have been the difference, but hey, I can't play as well as the Viper. All I can do is watch him play. Here we can see camels chasing scouts, the Viper bringing some camels in. A little bit of a camel war about to erupt here. We can see camels streaming in from both sides. Interesting to see these guys high HP but very low attack. Viper on +1 attack, Dogao on +1 armor. And they'll just do a little bit of the same thing they were doing with their scouts. Just kind of coming in, getting a few hits in, retreating. And all in all, not doing a whole lot of harassment at the moment on either side. We are going to see some monks here, since this is a Persians game. Dogao here grabbing a relic. Viper on the other side, he has his monastery up as well. Looks like a pretty identical build for him. Coming forward with some camels. Look at their little legs running. Looks like somewhat even matchup here, but this monk is probably going to get Viper to retreat. And just as if they were knights, the monk here can start healing up these camels. Got to protect your camels. Same thing for Viper on the other side. So we're going to see a bit of a Castle Age camel war here for a minute. Viper taking stone. He has protected this gold really well. Put up a town center here, another here to block the entrance. So the Viper on 3 TCs. Meanwhile, Dogao protecting his gold with a TC. He has a 2nd and a 3rd TC at the moment as well. So very, very similar builds for these guys. Lots of camels, lots of monks, 3 TCs, and we're going to see an Imperial Age click up from both of them at a pretty early time. And we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so Dogao here not taking any stone at the moment. He's on 0 stone. Viper's grabbing some, not super aggressively, but 5 villagers on it there. Taking a lot less gold, it looks like, than Dogao is. Here's a 4th town center for the Viper, a 2nd monastery for him. And we're just seeing a little bit of a stalemate militarily. These 2 guys just seeing who can build up their economy faster. And you'd have to think Dogao has a little bit of an advantage since he took the extra 3 villagers. But now he's down a TC, so he will. The Viper will equalize that villager difference very quickly. We can hear the Viper over here grabbing a relic. Both of these guys are very actively pursuing relics. Viper walking by a relic there, doing a little scouting with his monk. Alright, we see the camels on the front. 3 monks here protecting. This is looking like a pretty mean-looking group from Dogao. Viper here coming across. He's going to find Dogao's monk and Looks like he's going to take him down. Viper's trying to steal that relic, but Dogao's whole army is here, and it looks like he's not going to get it. 5 monks here for Dogao, ready to rock and roll. Chasing Viper's camels back. We can see that Dogao is here, +1 damage, +1 armor. Viper just the +1 damage, no additional armor. Dogao does escape with that relic. So the Viper here on this side of Dogao's base, not in a place where he can be seen, but he's not going to put any pressure on, and he is up to Imperial. If we look at Dogao's side, he's also up to Imperial, so extremely similar builds. Dogao coming here with archery ranges. No doubt we're going to see gunpowder units out of those. Meanwhile, doing some harassment here on the front. He wants to take down this monastery so that he can get those relics from Viper. Meanwhile, Viper getting some harassment here on Dogao's 3 villagers. All 3 of those are going to go down, and it's going to delay the archery range production here for him. Viper with a bit of a score lead at the moment, but very close game thus far. You can see both players getting up at the exact same moment. Viper here trying to do some harassment with a few camels. Doesn't look like he's paying attention because he's going to give those away for pretty much nothing there. Meanwhile, a couple of camels on the front harassing that house. Dogao coming forward with siege workshop, castle, more archery ranges. Undoubtedly, we'll see any moment. He's getting thumb ring. We'll start seeing gunpowder units pouring out of there. Meanwhile, the Viper with a pretty sizable number of pikemen here, protecting against those camels. Those are now halberders. And ooh, look at the Viper here coming in for lots of stone. Meanwhile, those halbs pushing back the camels. It's going to be hard to use these camels in any way until Dogao gets out a few hand cannons. It looks like he's doing that right now. Also getting some bombard cannons as well, getting conscription from his castle. Coming forward with an outpost to keep an eye on the Viper. If we look at Dogao's fog of war, he doesn't know about this gold here or this stone at the moment. Does he know that Viper's over here taking his stone, taking tons of gold? He doesn't know that gold is there. So the Viper here really committing a lot of villagers to taking gold in a spot that's not at all defended. So that will be interesting to keep an eye on, see if Dogao finds it and raids it. Meanwhile, Dogao coming forward with a mining camp, taking Viper's miners away from this 4 patch of gold. We can see a pretty sizable army, couple of armies here. And there's pinch point. Dogao grabbing this gold as well for the moment. Looks like he's going to push the Viper back with those camels and hand cannons. And we can see that this is starting to turn into a pretty good match for Dogao. He's going to get a few villagers here on the front by the looks of it. And it looks like he might get all 5 of those villagers. Trying to get that hand cannon down. Viper is with that little tiny... Ooh, he does get it down. There you go. It's worth it, sort of. These villagers here just playing together peacefully, mining, not willing to fight each other. Nobody's aggro. They're ready to do some teamwork. Meanwhile, we can see Dogao here having to move back. Viper having superior numbers of hand cannons, a couple of skirms mixed in, and some rams. Rams are really strong here because they're going to take the hits from the hand cannons and not go down easy. Meanwhile, Dogao here with a castle. He wants to take over this gold. Viper with a castle of his own. Both players really battling for that gold. Dogao's going to be pushed off of that. This castle less than halfway complete by 3 hand cannons. And that's a really big play by the Viper. He's going to secure this gold and lock it down. Meanwhile, if we look back at the top, he's got, I don't know, 15 villagers here mining this 3 patch of gold. Dogao doesn't see it, and it's not at all defended. Dogao up with another town center, but he looks to be running low on gold. He's got one pile there, 1 pile here. And on the front, his gold that he was mining here is getting harassed pretty badly. This pinch point seems to be an important point on this map. You can see hand cannons versus skirms here. The skirms taking down some hand cannons for rather cheap. A couple of scouts mixed in for Viper or light cavalry. He's got a trab up on the back. The cannons will take that out. Viper just waiting in the wings with a couple of rams. Meanwhile, he's taking wood right in front of Dogao's base. He's going to take wood here as well. I guess he's invested in the fact that Dogao has not attacked from this side of the map yet, and he's just going to keep building there until he gets harassed. Seems to make sense to me. Meanwhile, 2 miners working in the shadow of this castle, very happily, I'm sure. I'm not sure Dogao knows about that gold. He does not. Does the Viper. The Viper has scouted that gold, so we'll see if he pushes in onto that soon. And meanwhile, we get some stonewalling here from Dogao, some harassment from Viper. He's going to, he's now up to Hazar, and those are going to just keep these villagers on their toes. You can see about 4 of them here, just sort of 2 villagers down, just doing some harassment. Meanwhile, we have Rams here taking down Viper's castle. Dogao needs to get this gold. It's important for him to have a place to mine. He also should try to get this one as well. At the same time, Viper, in a sort of tit-for-tat move, is going to come forward with his Rams and attack Dogao's front castle. Both players really trying to posture for this middle ground, especially these 2 gold piles. You can see Dogao here with a pretty sizable force on the hill of hand cannons. They're going to do some damage if they want to. Right now they're just shooting Rams, which seems kind of a slow battle. Meanwhile, more harassment from Viper. Dogao here leaving a few hand cannons back in his base to protect his villagers. That seems smart. Viper coming in with cannons, coming in with light cav. You can just see how many places on the map you're getting the notifications from about attacks. You know, Viper's here on the front with Rams. He's here on the inside with light cavalry. He's here with cannons. And he's still trying to harass over here as well. So Viper playing a really good late game here, even though he got off to a slow start. Really harassing Dogao every single spot that he can. And keeping him from mining this gold. Actually, Viper's back to actively mining that gold himself. He's also going to send a whole bunch of villagers over to mine this gold. They'll have to fight off some wolves, but I'm sure they'll be fine. Meanwhile, Dogao has invested in this side of the map, but he's done it to get this stone and to put up a TC and do a little farming. That's an interesting play. I don't think he knows about this gold yet, does he? Looks like Dogao does. Well, of course he does. He has an outpost up right next to it. So investing his money to protect that stone instead of the gold, it's an interesting play. You can see Viper here in the meantime still just harassing everywhere. Dogao's getting notifications from every side of his base about, a few light cav here and there just harassing and being annoying. Meanwhile, down to 1 stone pile there. His gold inside of his base is completely gone. We can see that he's here trying to do some harassment here with some Hazars, trying to take down some Trebs. They're attacking this castle. That stone's not going to be protected for long. Meanwhile, the Viper happily mining there, happily mining here. He's completely mined out this area and transitioned those villagers to farming and lumberjacks. But overall, Viper controlling the map, most importantly controlling the gold. And Dogao's going to have to make a big move in order to take this game back. Starting to fall behind a little bit here, about 1,500 points. And you can just see Viper again in here harassing, keeping Dogao on his toes, trying to get these villagers into a chaotic position where they're not working. More Hazars here from Viper. You can see Dogao is going to stonewall up this front. It doesn't look like he's going to get it done in time. Well, these Hazars are really focused on that palisade. He will get the 1 villager here, but he's not going to get anything else. Looks like Dogao's going to have that walled up across the front. Or is he? No, he's not. Those Hazars doing the job and keeping that hole open. So that's really important for Viper. Meanwhile, he's still harassing here on this side. Dogao here with a decent amount of hand cannons still, but they're starting to feel the pressure from all of these trash units. And the Viper still over here just happily mining. He's going to take down that outpost so that Dogao can't watch him mine. Now he's moved on to this gold pile. This gold pile's totally exhausted. Overall, the Viper seems to have a major advantage in the amount of gold that he's mined. You can see that his Hazars are fully upgraded, whereas Dogao's are not. They're 7+2 instead of 7+4. And that could be a big difference when this game, when the gold runs off of this map. You can see Dogao here trying to get a little bit of harassment in. He's going to get a few of these villagers, maybe all of them. They have nowhere to run to. Good play by him. But Viper is still here collecting gold happily, building lots of rams, building lots of hand cannons, coming forward with stable and archery ranges, and starting to look like Viper's going to take over this game for good. We can see all of the dead bodies here. I mean, just really great harassment from the Viper, showing why he's the best player in the game. He has had a couple of weeks off from playing, but it looks like he's knocking some of the rust off in this game. You can see Dogao here. He's going to try to get some harassment running across the map. The problem is he's outnumbered and out-upgraded by Viper's Hussars. Dogao calling GG. And the Viper here winning this game by taking over all of the gold on the map. Even though he lost 3 villagers in the feudal age, he was able to basically win back the game once it got to Imperial. So thank you all for tuning in. Cool to see a Persians war once in a while. My name's Tyler. Please tune back in. Leave me a comment. Subscribe. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right. And thank you. Have a good day.